Nicola Sturgeon's resignation has created pretty well total turmoil within the SNP for a range of reasons, which I'm sure we can discuss. But isn't it the ultimate irony that one of the first casualties of the turmoil created by her resignation, and there she is the man standing next to her, who is her husband, Peter Murrell, the chief executive of the SNP. He's been the chief exec of the party for 20 years. He continued to be so while she was First Minister and leader of the party. And it's that fact, that conjunction of those two posts, that has for quite some time fomented disquiet among a sector of the party. I stress only a sector, small but determined, who believe that the SNP, or argue that the SNP, has been run by a cabal rather than being open to democratic decision-making. So they've long been gunning for Peter Murrell. And again, the ultimate irony is that they bring him down just as Nicola Sturgeon is leaving. Now, it's said that Peter Murrell would have stepped down in any case once the new leader was in place, but he's had to go in a rather undignified fashion.
Yeah, and Brian, you call it undignified. It's worth just reminding our viewers exactly how this came about, because it was, when I read it, it's kind of a bit of back and forth and a bit of confusion and a mistake that's been made in counting of numbers, and it just ended up, as you say, being the end of it for Mr. Murrell.
I mean, the membership of the SNP soared after the 2014 referendum result. You remember Scotland didn't vote yes, it was no by a majority of 55 to 45. But there seemed to be a feeling among members of the public that they would row in behind the SNP almost as a compensation. So membership soared to about 125,000. It was down to about 104,000 by the end of 2021. The party declined to disclose the membership that would be taking part in the current leadership election. I understand why. They didn't want it to be an issue, and they also didn't want to confess that it's down to about 72,000. A figure that other parties in Scotland can only dream of, but for the SNP is well down from those peaks. Peter Murrell made a fundamental mistake in when he was challenged about those figures. He obfuscated, he dodged, he got around the subject. He said he was answering questions about the source of the decline rather than the numbers. Basically, he didn't put forward the straightforward numbers. To me, if you're going to lead in a democracy, you mustn't mislead, because eventually you're going to be found out, and that was the case here. He says he doesn't feel that there was intentional misleading, but he bears responsibility, and so he's gone. But you must understand that is that wider sense of criticism of what they believe is a cabal by, it's 2 or 3 MPs, some other members. It would appear that Ash Regan, one of the candidates, is now is heading towards that sector of opinion within the party. Now, those who support, as Ash Regan there, those who support the position adopted by Nicola Sturgeon say that the critics are rebels without a clue, that they are putting forward arguments and putting forward complaints without having a strategy other than just replacing the leadership and replacing the chief executive. What's happened in the party is that Mike Russell, the party president, a former cabinet minister, very senior figure indeed, a former chief executive himself, in fact, a predecessor of Peter Murrell, has taken over the day-to-day running of the party on a voluntary, unpaid basis until a new leader is in place and a new chief executive is in place. This is one guddle. It's one burch, to use a Scots phrase, for the SNP. Can they get out of it? Yes, they can. If the new leader can settle things down, there is an incredible impetus within the SNP to gather around, to unify. Why? Because they're not simply a party, they are also a movement. But it's going to take some effort to achieve it on this occasion.
No, it certainly is, and appreciate that phrase. Sugarly Peg was also one that I was told about when it came to Nicola Sturgeon a little while ago. Brian Taylor, appreciate that. Thank you very much for your time.